Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going deep into the magical system and leap beyond mere tier magic and unravel the secret that wild magic holds. But before we do so, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel. Now, wild magic differs from tier magic in many ways, but the biggest difference is that it had never been present as a game mechanic in Yggdrasil, because it had its own magic system called, again, tier magic. Instead, wild magic was the primordial and original form of magic used by all sorts of beings in the New World, but primarily by the dragons who still ruled it back then. And in Dungeons & Dragons, wild magic was also a primordial form of magic, born from chaos, and it basically worked pretty chaotic, casting random magic effects, which remind me of a certain Pokemon attack that shall not be mentioned here. Although again, gaining more control over the primordial form of magic in Dungeons & Dragons was possible with rising level, but its strength in the New World excelled the inspiration by quite a bit, as it had been more or less the dragon's secret to their seemingly unending power and strength. For it was also known as the magic of the soul. It is untamed, wild, and can't really be measured and described by the Yggdrasilian rule set. The only reliable cause and effect we have been even exposed to thus far is the relationship with power to HP. The more souls, or rather the more HP sacrificed for the casting of wild magic, the stronger the spell becomes. And the relationship between the strength of one's soul and these of wild magic casting is also present. For example, Draudilon Auriculus, the ruler of the Dragon Kingdom, a human nation that came to existence after Brightness Dragonlord did a Zeus and couldn't keep it in his pants and sired offspring with a human woman, thus favoring the line of rulers that still commands the fate of the Dragon Kingdom after all these years. And again, Draudilon Auriculus had received quite a few blessings because of her lineage, such as extended life and youthful appearance, but her grandfather had been a true dragon, and her bloodline got diluted ever since, thus weakening her ability to connect to the power of his grandfather, to the point that she now requires a vast amount of souls in order to cast wild magic. While Platinum Dragonlord had an ultimate attack that he himself could use, likely with just his own HP as the tribute required, Draudilon now would need 1,000,000 souls in order to cast a wild magic spell of comparable magnitude. Now I want you to imagine what a true Dragonlord could do with all of these souls present in the New World. With powers as great as wild magic in its purest form, one could likely bend reality or break through another one, which might very well be the explanation as of why the players and Yggdrasilian rules came to the New World in the first place, but with a twist. I made an entire video about all of this, but basically the idea is that the Dragon Emperor didn't realize that Yggdrasil was just a game world, and that the world-class items were just a bunch of data when launching his wild magic ritual spell, thus accidentally bestowing powerful wild magic properties to the world-class items, while also ripping everything out of the game into the New World that stood next to the world-class items. And with that, the first time another magical system had been introduced into the New World, tier magic, which had been an incredible blessing for the weak and frail humans, since while they likely didn't have the HP to cast even simple wild magic spells and survive the tribute and life force required to use them, tier magic ran on mana points, which every human to at least some extent could produce and expand upon, thus giving humanity their very own power. And apparently for the first 100 years, tier magic and wild magic coexisted. Maybe back then the 6 great gods used wish upon a star, or some other means to bestow tier magic upon worthy humans. Same goes for the skills like summon middle tier undead, and so on and so forth. But everything changed with the appearance of the 8 Kings of Everest, Through some means, likely by a world-class item like Ouroboros, they made tier magic the dominant form of magic in the new world. Henceforth, all creatures now carried a far greater affinity for tier magic than wild magic within them. And this effect didn't stop even before the Dragon Lords themselves, since today dragons, such as the frost dragons of the Isilesian mountains, gain access to tier magic and spells that require mana, instead of the magic of the soul, and therefore only the last survivors of the Great War against the 8 Great Kings are able to cast wild magic, as well as their offspring, but again, with a heavy tribute required. As for the cause of the war, the twisting and the polluting of wild magic might have been the cause. And after tier magic became the dominant form of magic, wild magic spells have become much harder to cast and are much less effective. Back in the days, rings such as the wild magic ring that could raise a warrior's level over 100 could be far more easily forged by true Dragon Lords than today. But wild magic still could, even in its twisted and diminished form, produce effects only the most powerful of world-class items could bring forth. We have seen this in the bonus volumes, where Ainz had fought Cure Elim Los Malvar, a powerful undead Dragon Lord, who unleashed an attack with the same effect as Longinus, the world item that would erase anyone from existence itself, eradicating their very presence. So not just a mere death spell, but a complete annihilation of a character. And this great power, as well as the world-class items being the only defense against wild magic, proves to me that wild magic is basically more powerful than tier magic, and that wild magic and the world-class items are strongly collected, if not entirely made up of wild magic. Although it now requires a far greater sacrifice to wield, thus shifting the cost-benefit clearly in favor of tier magic, which is easier to use, more widely understood, and accessible even to the weak and frail humans. So while the magic of the soul is able to break the Yggdrasilian rules that now govern parts of the physics in the new world, only the last true Dragon Lords can wield it effectively. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Yi, Ben C, Chrissy, Sia, Death is Mercy, Dystopia the Second, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Kratos, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Matthew, Mr. Shoes, Michael R, Michael Y, O'Kill, Paddy Pantom, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss Ruck Edsmasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Venture Fanatic, Wave of Manga, Wilhelm, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video. Over and out.